Speaking of weather, do you have a favorite time of year?
For fishing in Ontario?
No, so many guys that get this idea in their head that, man, we really want to hit the walleyes or we really want to hit the pike, we got to hit them when they're spawning.
Yeah. June.
You know?
May, June.
Well, late May and June, depending upon where you're going in Ontario. And that is just not true. When they're right into spawning itself, the last thing on their mind is food. Yes, you might be able to get the males to hit a jig and a minnow and so forth. From about 7 days before the big females start to drop their eggs, they quit feeding. They don't have any problem sitting there for a week without feeding. The water's cold, they can sit for days and have no ill effects whatsoever and do it. As soon as those big females are done spawning, they don't hang around that area. They book it. Let me give you a case study where they tracked the 10-pound plus walleye in the Mississippi River. It took about 30 days from Lake Pepin to move on up to the Red Wing Dam. And then it crawled in a hole off of a wing dam and it sat there for 6.5 days and never moved. They thought maybe the fish had died. On the night of the 7th day, it moved up about midnight, spawned on a wing dam with a bunch of males, and by 6 o'clock the next morning was 31 miles south of there. And that's documented with radio transmitters. That's just one case I can tell you, and I know of a lot of them. That's what they do. When they get up in the shallow areas where they spawn, they know they're more vulnerable. Deep water is the home of the fish. It is the basin, it is the security of the fish. And a lot of time, a lot more fish spend time laying on that bottom out in deep water than people have any idea of. How deep will they go? I talked to commercial fishermen out of Sturgeon Bay, Wisconsin, who fish Cisco's out in Lake Michigan. Chubs, they sell them, you know, smoked chubs in the grocery stores. They get walleyes, the deepest they've ever caught walleyes in their chub nets was 360 feet, but they catch walleyes every year over 300 feet. I talked to the last commercial fisherman up at Isle Royal on Lake Superior years ago, and he said he'd caught many pike in his nets by mistake that were over 40 pounds, and Superior's not known for big pike. But he said the biggest pike were always between 300 and 600 feet down. Nobody's ever fished them there.
No.
Well, it's unbelievable to us,
Yeah.
because we think we got it all figured out, and the pike's got to hang out around the cabbage bed or whatever. No, they have abilities and can do things that we don't even consider.
Sure.
So that walleye goes up here to spawn, it's going to get the heck out of there as quick as it can and get back to security. And those females leave, boom. They don't hang around. There are a few of the smaller ones might, and a bunch of the males will hang around some. There's a schooling tendency to all fish. But that's part of that process. Those big hen pike, they get done spawning, boom, they're out of there. The next time you find them might be in shallow bays again, but they might be over here eating 4-pound and 5-pound suckers because the suckers spawn after the walleyes get done. And by then a lot of these pike are recuperated from spawning, they're ready to start putting the feed bag on. And most of that food is shallow. So they'll come up shallow,